Welcome back to the replay. Thanks for joining on the stream. You guys are awesome. You're rocking it. You're rocking it. Thank you. Hey, please share this with somebody else. Share this with somebody else because I believe that this is helping you. Hopefully this is helping you. And so remember, this is part 3 of 4. So we did the first 2 parts already. Thank you for inviting people. You guys rock. Jacqueline and King J, Lady Trey, Drea, Jacqueline, Alicia. Come on now. Hair Therapy 8. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are rocking it with the shares. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So remember what we got going on. Forever Nappy. Thank you. Hey, how you doing? If you are giving the most hearts over all these 4 scopes, this is number 3 of the 4 scopes. If you give the most hearts, this right here is going to be yours, and I'll send it to you free of charge. So check it out. This Personality Plus, this is where the information that I'm telling you is coming from. Hey, everybody. Hey. So make sure to check this out. So once again, if this is your personality type, I'm going to be discussing the 3rd major personality type. And if this is you, I want you to tap the screen. Don't break the screen. I want you to tap and make it a tap party. And so keep going. Let me know that this is you, okay? And guess what? I'm doing like a little poll. And so I'm doing kind of an unofficial poll. And so if you are giving hearts to the thing that most corresponds with your personality type, you're like, yes, he's talking about me. I want to see what different personality types people identify with the most. And so I'm going to analyze each of the different scopes when I go back. So here we go. So that's the welcome. Also make sure to go to the link in my bio and you can download the personality test and you can see what your personality is like. I know God has made each of us unique and it's really, really awesome. You know, what's also really cool is being able to grow your relationship with others. And so the more you understand about how others are designed and how you're designed, the better you can facilitate growth in your relationships with others and others' relationships with you. And so you want to do that. I know you do. I want to. So we're going to talk about melancholy. I am a true balanced mixture. Awesome. And if you know what your mixture is, if you kind of already have a feel of what you think you are, go ahead and shout it out to me in the comments. Yes, perfect melancholy. Yes. So this is me. This is me naturally. I have actually had to adapt and become choleric. I've had to become more strong, decisive, powerful leader type because of what life has required from me. And I'm not complaining. It's good. You know, that's development. You know, that's how God does it with us. He develops us. However, I naturally, thank you, I'm glad that you're enjoying this. I naturally am more of a melancholy person. So this is me right here. And so melancholy people, their basic desire is to have perfection. That's the basic desire. And you know, it's funny, me and my wife will do the same task. Let's talk about cooking. So me and my wife will try to cook the same meal, but my wife will do it in half the time. Now, the difference between us is that she does it fast, but she might leave messes and spills and there's stuff everywhere. And so she just does it fast and she gets the job done. But for me as a melancholy, I actually go slower because I want the job to be done perfectly. Hey, Marine, I want the job to be done perfectly. And so I'll cook the same exact meal, but it'll take me twice as long because I want to clean up and I want to put everything up kind of as you do. You know how you cook, and you know, some people cook and they like to just kind of everything everywhere. But some people cook and like, it's like by the time they're done cooking, like the kitchen is almost spotless. You know, maybe there's a couple pans left, but you know, that's difference. That's the difference in personality types. And for melancholies, we like everything done perfectly. And so sometimes it takes us a little bit longer. And I'm not saying better or worse. We're just different, guys. It's just different personality types. And so my wife can do it fast, but for me, it's like I go slow, but I want to get done things, you know, perfectly. And so, yeah, you're saying that's me. And so, hey, if that's you, make sure to tap the screen and let me know. And so what's different about us is that I'll try to go fast like my wife, but I'll mess everything up. Like I'll drop like a whole can of sauce like on the floor, and you know, like everything will just kind of go haywire because my DNA wasn't built to go fast like that, to do and operate as she does. But her DNA wasn't designed to operate like me. And so she'll try to like slow down and go super meticulous. and it just doesn't seem to work out for her. She doesn't like it. I mean, and so just different styles, not better, worse, just different. And I love it because when I'm hungry and I'm ready to eat, she can whip up the meal real quick. And so, but what is melancholy? So their basic desire is to have perfection. You want everything perfect. You want it just the way it needs to be. You want everything right. Now, here's part of the downside about melancholy. A lot of times, melancholy, they can get it right. They can get it perfected, but sometimes it takes a lot of time. Sometimes it takes a lot of effort. Sometimes, you're like, okay, hurry up already. It's fine. It's fine. Just leave it. But they want everything in order. And so emotional needs are sensitivity. They want you to be sensitive. All right, I'm glad you're tapping the screen, God's girl. Sensitive. They want support. They want space, and they want silence. They want sensitivity, support, space, and silence. That's what we need as melancholy. And I don't really like that word because sometimes it has, you look up the definition, it has like a negative connotation. but sensitivity, support, space, and silence. And so those things are very true, very important for you, and you really need those things. Silence is something that actually I really enjoy. And it was interesting making the change from growing up. I have two older sisters, but I grew up like the single child in the household. And so growing up in my parents' house, it was always pretty quiet. And my parents weren't big entertainers. They didn't always have a lot of people over. So my house was usually pretty quiet, which was perfect for me because as a melancholy person, I enjoy silence. And so, but when I got married and, we started having kids, my house, I have 4 kids and a wife, my house is very noisy now a lot. And there's always a lot of activity, a lot going on. And so I've had to learn how to balance that. I've had to learn how to just be okay with that and understand, how to pick and choose my spaces. And so, sometimes on the weekend, I'll take a little nap or I'll need this or that. And all my family knows, like, I need this. Not because I'm lazy. I'm very productive in life, but I need it for me. It's almost like I need it for my own mental sanity. And I don't like to use that term, but for lack of a better term, because God created us the way he created us. And God wants us to live a joyful and peaceable life and live a great life. But I believe that it's up to us to start to understand how he made us so we can make sure to achieve everything that God said that we were promised: joy, happiness, peace, fulfillment. And so I think it all plays a part according to the wisdom of God. And so it's just different kinds of people are different ways. And so I'll even give you an example, and don't judge me for this, okay? Don't judge me. Because I love my daughter. My daughter Lily, she was recovering recently, like last week. She was recovering from some kind of cold or something. And so as she was recovering, she was coughing a lot. She was coughing a lot. And I don't say anything to her. I try to help her. We try to, of course, we pray for her. And then, we give her tea, cough drops, and all that kind of stuff. But what happened, what I found that it mentally started to wear on me sometimes if I had to hear it over a couple hours, because it was a sound that continuously broke the silence. And it wasn't a sound that I was asking for. It was kind of like a sound invading in the atmosphere that continuously broke the silence every minute, a little cough every minute, every minute. And so it didn't make me mad at her. I mean, I knew she couldn't help it. She's recovering, but that's just the way that we're created. And I actually learned something about myself last week, that for melancholy people, you're very sensitive to sounds that you didn't invite into your space and into your atmosphere. So sometimes that can play a part in the attitude you have and even how you're approaching the day if you're being inundated with different sounds and different things, different voices into your space that you didn't ask for. And sometimes it can put you in a mood without even realizing what triggered your mood, And so if this is you, if I'm hitting your hot button topic, if you say, yes, oh my God, that's me, make sure to tap the screen, let me know, because I'm taking that poll. And so they control by threat of moods. So for melancholy people, they control by threat of moods. What that means is sometimes they could be liable to have mood swings, up one minute, down the next. And sometimes they could just have these moods where, things are good, but the switch hits. Sometimes for me, my wife will say something, and not something mean or offensive, but she'll just maybe make a comment. And I just, for whatever reason, I didn't like it. And because I'm a melancholy person, like, I'll internalize it. And so, I could have been, everything's good. And she made a comment. I kind of said, just kind of thought about it. And so, then she'll say, what's wrong? You okay? I mean, you seem like you were fine just a little bit ago. What happened? And I'll say, yeah, I'm fine. I mean, nothing's wrong. And I realize I'm just internalizing what just happened. Maybe we had a conversation that wasn't real easy, and so I'm internalizing. And so for her, she's able to move on and say, okay, well, next thing, da da da. And for me, I'm kind of stuck like, kind of thinking about it, internalizing, seeing how I feel about it. And so that's a melancholy trait. That's a very melancholy trait because by nature, you want to analyze things. And as you analyze things, you want to get to the root of it. You want to really figure this thing out. And so, for melancholy, we're introverted people. And as introverted people, we recharge our battery by being alone, by being secluded. Being around a lot of people can drain our battery sometimes and drain our energy sometimes. And so if you're an introverted person, you're a melancholy person, make sure you make some time out for yourself that you can do something you do something you need. And I always got to be careful with that because sometimes it's not that deep. Absolutely. You're right, Kelly. Sometimes it's just not that deep. But by nature, it's like we want to make it deep. Like, what did you mean by that? Well, maybe she meant this. Maybe he meant that. And so, but yeah, we got to bring ourselves and say, sometimes it's just not that deep. And so, but for melancholy people, sometimes we could have a tendency to be more pessimistic, and we got to stay away from that. We got to be careful and guard that. Now, this is what I say about people who feel like they're more pessimistic. You were made the way you were made on purpose. And if the way you were made seems to identify problems or issues, then you were made in a way that you are equipped to be able to solve those problems or those issues. Give you an example. If there's 5 things out here happening and there's 3 things out here happening that are wrong, that have issues that other people can't seem to see, then the way God made you, he designed you on purpose to be able to identify those things, but not to complain about them or not to get down about them, but to provide solutions for them and to tap into the wisdom of God in order to solve those issues. You can't solve an issue that you don't know is a problem. I mean, you can't solve a problem that doesn't exist, right? And so when God made you, he made you the way he made you. And if you see problems, he's given you the ability to see problems because he's also giving you the wisdom to understand solutions for those problems. And so people who are the other way, maybe some people don't really see problems, they may have not been gifted in the same way that you're gifted to solve the problems. And the way I know that is because they don't see the problems. But when you see the problem, just know that God can give you the wisdom to solve that problem. And so that's my little hit for the day. And so, these people who are melancholy, they're also, that's right, Drea. They're also can be artistic and sometimes they can be emotional. But, sometimes you have the artist. Have you ever seen like the artist that seem like the dark and brooding type artist? And I'm not saying he's this way, but I give you a good example. Kanye West. Kanye West is not like the get up and dance and let's always have fun and always has a smile on his face and always has an encouraging word for you. He seems like the more introverted kind of guy who every time you see him, he always looks like he's deep in thought. He's kind of pensive and I'm thinking, I'm analyzing. Well, artists can be melancholy too. And so, sometimes you have those artists that are just always in thought and sometimes they're deep in thought. But sometimes some great artistic expressions come out of that. And so it's not just Kanye West. I mean, you got many different artists across all different kinds of platforms. Yeah, no, Kanye West. But great example though. I'm sure you understand the example. So I want to get to my last one. Before I get to my last one, I want to tell you that melancholy people can often seem soft-spoken and are very task-oriented. So they're not so much relational, but they're more so the task-oriented type of people that are goal-oriented and just want to get the job done, want to get the task done, want to keep the goal in mind so they can get it done. So if that's you, make sure to tap the screen, hit the hearts. Remember, if you have the most hearts, I will be sending you a copy of this Personality Plus book. And I want to let you know that we're all a blend because we're all unique. And God has made us that way. We just have to understand the way God has made us, and then we can maximize on how God has made us. And so, yes, so we got to balance those things, and you balance the natural things with the spiritual things, and understanding who you are, understanding who God is, understanding what you're designed to do. Make sure you take the test in my link, okay? So in my link, there is a personality test. Make sure to go take it and you can see what kind of personality you have. And make sure to watch the other the other two scopes. And then we're gonna do the fourth scope next. So I'll meet you back here in about 2 minutes. And if you're watching the replay, make sure to follow so you don't miss any of the scopes.